It's time for the Hab-Normals Podcast. All Habs, all the time. Hey there, everybody. Thanks for joining us. It's our season in review podcast. The 23-24 has ended, and that sounded like a ghost. So we haven't been here for a couple of weeks. We haven't been here for a couple of weeks, and we do apologize for that. But we are back, and we're going to talk about the the goings on during the season, our thoughts about certain things, just like that, I guess. I don't know. Can you tell we're not that prepared for the opening? Yeah, you should be able to. All right, so this week I'm here with my usual co-hosts. Up in the let's see, that's the left corner is Harry from Harry Rice Hockey on YouTube. Say hi, Harry.
Hello.
And on the other corner
everybody.
that's how I'm not really good with this. Who you cannot see his face, wearing a pink Whitney hat, is Matt Norton.
What's that?
But you look like you're insane there. Like, that's not a good look. You're going to call the cops and say, yeah, look at this crazy guy. All right, so we are going to talk about a bunch of different things for the Habs season. So we're going to start out with the bright spots this season. It could be maybe a game, a player, a trade, like anything like that. So since I am the MC and I don't really have anything in mind yet, I'm going to put Harry on the spot here and ask Harry, what were your bright spots from this past season?
Oh, my bright spots. So, firstly, of course, Nick Suzuki, newly minted captain. He had a great year, I thought. Very good defensively.
Wait. Wasn't he captain last season, though?
Well, he was, but it was the first actual season being really.
You got me confused. You know, I'm old, and I thought, did I miss a year somewhere, or did I imagine a season? I don't know.
Well, Suzuki, the newly second season minted captain. No, but he had a great year. He was in the Selke contention for a while there. I don't know if he still is or not. I think we'll find out. I don't think the Selke.
Yeah, I don't think. He
may
may be, but he's not like in top 3 or anything. But
yeah, probably not. It'd be great, but
not
just had a great year. Goaltending had a great. Matt's hurting.
I kicked my desk.
Goaltending, I thought had a very good for a majority of the year. Of course, Caden Primo, especially once we had traded Jake Allen, he looked great. Monty for most of the year played fantastic. Caulfield, I think, especially down the stretch, I thought got into his own. I think he was a big bright spot. This one's going to be weird. Michael Pezzetta, fourth line grinder, played great.
He just cut his hair.
No.
For charity. No, wait. He cut
it.
Oh,
yeah, okay. That I did see.
It's going to be a wig for a needy kid. Yeah.
That I did see that, actually. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It sucks he cut his hair, but it's good that's for a good cause.
Grow it again.
He'll have it. Yeah, he'll have it grown back.
He'll grow that thing in a week.
He probably could. But Pezzetta, I thought he had a very solid year for a fourth line grinder. I thought he had some impressive moments throughout the year.
Two bright spots for me for Pezzetta, since we're talking about Pezzetta. Two fights. One, remember that first one early in the season where he just looked like he was
yes,
a world champion boxer. He went after, I don't remember who it was. He looked fantastic. And then later against Reeves, where he was totally outmatched, but had the balls to drop in there. He had the balls to do it. So to me, for Pezzetta, that's two bright spots.
And I will say, to be fair with that fight, when Reeves is throwing the sticks and his glove at Pezzetta, I don't know how much of a fight he's really going to be able to put up. But
no, I'll give you that. But whatever. He was outmatched there. However it worked out.
He was, yes.
But he stepped up,
answered
the call without batting an eye, and you got to give it to a guy like that. That takes balls when you know you're probably getting beat up there. Still went in it, you know?
And I had one more, just really quick off the top of my head. I did have one more. The blue line in general. Mike Matheson had a career year. Maybe he'll have it again this year. I think he will. Or next year, I should say. I think he will. David Savard, great defensively. Lane Hudson, we only saw him for 2 games, but It's a pretty damn good 2 games.
Preview of the future.
Oh, yeah. Logan Mailloux, I think in his NHL debut, played very well. Very mature for a 20-year-old kid.
Somebody this week came out and said, like, really high praise of Logan Mailloux.
Seen a few people.
I wouldn't. Yeah, I
can't
know. I know a
remember
couple
who it
people have been
was.
saying that. I don't know specifically.
Somebody
though.
we all respect. I know from, but I can't remember the name. But like saying Logan Mailloux is going to be a dominant NHL defenseman.
Oh yeah, I can see it. I wouldn't put it past him at all. I think he's that type of guy. He'll adapt to the NHL well if he's here next year or the year after. Whenever he makes it, he's going to adapt quickly, I think. But just overall, the blue line was just had a very good year offensively. I think even defensively, there were some guys who were better than advertised. Kovacevic, I thought, was all right. I think Caden Gooley's really improved his defensive game. Not that it was bad or anything, but he's gone from good to pretty good defensive defenseman. So
Caden Gooley,
I'm excited for the future.
Eric Engels was on Sick Podcast yesterday. Asked about Caden Gooley. Is he a top pairing defenseman? And Engels said right at the moment he would put him on any contending team. He'd be a number 3. Another year, he says 100 to 150 games from now, and he's a top 2 guy.
Yep. Most other teams he will be, but Montreal, I think he's going to be restricted to the second pair just because of Hudson and Reinbacher. But
that could be. But I mean, still, he's the quality of.
Oh yeah.
That's what the point was. So.
He absolutely gets there, and at least in 2 seasons, he's a top pair guy for sure.
All right, let's move on. Matt, what do you got for your highlights?
So, I mean, for me, really, there were 3 things that I really liked seeing. Things that, throughout the season got better and better, and just only kind of further proved that, the development system that we have here is top of the line, and just makes me more excited for the future. And that's the progression that we saw in Caden Primo and Juraj Slafkovsky throughout the whole season, and the emergence of Jaden Struble as I think I can't think of the word.
Top 6 defenseman with the team. I don't know.
You would top 6, but I don't know what the word is, but I don't think. Put it this way, I think he's got a spot on this team for years to come. I think Jaden Struble really emerged and proved himself as a top 6, maybe even top 4 defenseman. I think
a legit NHL defenseman.
Yeah,
a legit NHL defenseman on any team.
Yeah, without a doubt. And for me, I mean, not only we know he's extremely strong for his size, but he's such an intelligent player, and he's so good at carrying the puck. I think it's a very underrated part of his game. But we saw a lot where he was carrying the puck into the zone, trying to make things happen, create, and able to get back, play great defense, made a few saves in net.
Well, because of his skating, I mean, he's
one of the best skaters on the team. I think.
Second best. I think second best to Matheson, definitely.
And I think kind of changing gears, kind of staying on that end of the ice, though. I think we can all agree that kind of Caden Primo's coming out party was this past season. I mean. Just night and day from what we had seen from him, and it showed that he'd been really working on things, and even throughout the season, his glove side we knew was a weakness, and I thought he did a good job throughout the season working on it, and we, could see it get better as games went on.
Primo, 100%, yeah, definitely is a bright spot for them. And surprisingly, because I'd given up on it, I'd given up on it. It's both of the 2 guys you actually talked about. Not that I thought Struble not a good defenseman.
You just didn't know a lot about him.
Just thought that he's not going to make it here. There's too many guys ahead of him. There's no spot for him here. So I figured, okay, write him off for that. He's being a trade, in a package, whatever. And Primo, same thing. Thought Primo does not. That's it for Primo.
At the start of the year, why we're keeping him as the 3rd string? Right. Get rid of him. Let him go.
What are they doing?
And I mean, pretty quickly we saw. Oh, okay, that's why they didn't send him down, because he would have been claimed like that.
Claimed for sure. They saw in him what we didn't.
Right.
Yep.
No,
And
without a
that's
doubt.
good. That's why they're in management and we're not.
That's why they get the big money and we don't.
I will say I was always a Struble guy. I didn't know when we would see him, but I always thought he'd at least be capable. I mean, he certainly showed right away that he's way more than capable at the NHL level.
Yeah.
But I just want to say that I was never a right off Gooley guy or not Struble guy, like the guy
I
on the
just
bottom.
thought, his time came and went.
Yeah.
There's too many guys talent. Like, there's no way he breaks, makes the lineup at all. But I was wrong. I'd rather be wrong.
Yeah, and moving on to kind of my the third guy I mentioned. I mean, Juraj Slafkovsky proved to us this year why he was the first overall pick. I think in 2022. I think without a doubt. We finally started putting things together. Finally realized, hey, I'm 6'4", 230 pounds. I ain't being pushed around anymore. I'm gonna do the pushing. We saw his shot start to develop. We know that he stays late after practice to work on that. His puck protection skills are sublime.
Our best on the team, from what I gather, from what I've heard the announcers talk about. He protects the puck better or as good as anybody on that team.
Absolutely. And we saw again kind of his playmaking skill kind of show itself, right? You and I, Rick, we talk a lot about how he just has a knack for those little touch passes in an open space to guys, or just having those eyes in the back of his head to just lay off a little touch pass.
Or cross ice.
Stop hands when he passes a puck.
Or cross ice through defenders. Yeah. Like, he's a sublime passer. And I want to say this about Slav. He is better than we thought he could be.
I think so.
When we're looking at 60 to 70 points, that's on a down year.
Oh yeah, that will be.
Yeah, I think so. He's a point a game player.
He's a 90-point player in my book.
Yeah. But I'm saying he's a point.
I mean, if he's a 90-point player, that means Suze is hitting 100.
Yeah.
Suzuki's a point, and I'll say it right now. Suzuki's a point a game player next year.
Without a doubt. Easily. All three of them are.
I mean, year after year, we've seen it from Suzuki where he goes up like 10 points.
And
every single year he's been in the league.
Caulfield 65 points. You add 20 more goals, say, on that, because it's realistic. And it's 85 points. It's three guys on one line, point a game, and you're going to see 100 goals plus from.
And then you'll have Doc on the second line, probably a 60-point guy if he can stay healthy.
Yep. And maybe more. We don't know yet from Doc. That's the thing, too.
That is, unfortunately, yeah.
So for me, the bright spots, I'm going to agree with you for the goaltending. I'm going to add Montembeault in there because Monty was top 10 and I think number 7 in goals saved above expected. And he was in top 10 in stealing games.
Yes.
So Monty, even though the record didn't really show, but the numbers were still there. The goals against a little bit, but I mean, that Boston game, he never recovered from that one. But the save percentage was there.
And I mean, it's still a really young team, so they're still learning to still.
Yeah, exactly. And you can just see this guy he can steal games. That's all you want. I mean, what else? What more do you want from your goalie? Is that he saves goals above expected, and he steals games. That's your starter. And people saying Monty's not a starter. I don't know.
I think he's a starter on a lot of teams in this league.
Yeah, and that's what a starter is supposed to do. You're supposed to save goals above expected and steal games. That's what you're supposed to do. And he's doing that. And it'll show more as the team gets better. Yep. So, Monty, I can't agree more than on Slav. Slav was probably the biggest bright spot on this team.
Yes. I mean, we went from 10 points to almost 50?
To 50, not almost.
Or 250? Yeah.
Yeah, and at the last 35 games, he was basically a point-a-game guy.
Yeah,
he was
off by like a point.
I mean, that what was like the third to last game when he got that Slav trick?
Yeah.
That was just the cherry on top of this season for him. That was the cherry on top of, I'm here, get ready.
Yeah. And just because we're on Slav, because this is what Nick said about him. He's going to be a top 5 winger in the league.
Oh, yeah, he will be.
And you know what? I don't doubt that now.
Nope.
So
No,
if
me
you look
neither.
at top 5 wingers this year, am I not right about Kucherov, McKinnon?
Pasternak.
No,
Look at
McKinnon's
those
the center.
numbers. Look at those numbers. That's 100 plus points.
Nathan McKinnon's a
All
center.
3 of those guys.
Center, yeah.
All 3 of those guys. And you want to add in a guy like maybe the Breadman, Panarin, 110 points.
Yep.
Or 120. So you're looking at Slav's potential now is kind of, you can see where it is, his ceiling. And that's 100 plus points a year.
Oh, yeah. Like looking at just right wingers.
I mean, that means
where
that
he
whole
played
line's
this year.
100 plus points a player. If
Yeah,
he's getting
that's his
100 plus
ceiling.
points, like fuck.
That's his ceiling has now been defined, in my opinion, Slav, and that's his ceiling. Does he hit it? I think he will.
Mm-hmm.
I think he will.
I can
think
see
he
it,
will.
no doubt.
Let's see. Do I have any other bright spots? I think Matheson, definitely. And I think they're going to re-sign him. We'll get into that because we're going to talk about him. You know what? We can't say it without, even though it was 2 games, Lane Hudson was a huge bright spot. Why? We've had guys come up for a couple of games. They look good and all that. This kid came up and looked like he's still playing in college.
Yeah.
That's
not-
He did exactly what I've seen him do in college.
Yeah, he looked like
He
he's
came
still
right in,
playing.
and you saw it every time he
was
touched
no-
the puck in the offensive zone. He's dancing. That brain's
Yeah.
moving.
Oh,
He's looking
yeah.
to create.
The way he jigged and like this, he's doing
yeah.
the same things.
I mean, that the goalie when he assisted on Gallagher. I mean, he got the puck, looked, made a move, cross, he's by his defenseman with like 20 feet either way.
You see how he makes space for himself.
Yeah, the way he skates and the way he pivots, it's just
He's got some of the best crossovers I've ever seen.
It's crazy. So that was a huge bright spot because this guy is going to be a big part of this team going forward.
And I'm going to call it now. This might seem crazy. Lane Hudson's getting 60 points next year. His rookie year, he is exploding. I'm not
going to say that, but I'm not going to say he won't. You know, I'm not going to say he will.
I think he very well could.
He won't either.
And I think the goal scoring might
a lot of them on the
down
power
a little
play.
to from college, but his assists are going to be right up there.
Yeah,
he's just that creative.
Power play points. Yeah, you know what? I'm leaning towards that. You're 100%. If 60 might be on the low side, and I don't mean like it's going to be 90, but I mean he could 60 to 70 points. I can see from this kid. If it clicks right. I'm not saying it 100% will, but I like what I saw. That potential is there.
Yes, it is. Absolutely.
All right, let's move off of that because we're going to talk about these guys a little bit more. Quickly on injuries.
Well, just one more guy because we touched on kind of the main names, but I do kind of want to throw Joshua Waugh in there too.
Yeah,
definitely a bright spot. Although with the getting hurt, I wanted to see a little bit more, but he was definitely in that, like you could see it's going to get better even. Yeah. And there were some really good signs there and some really good stuff there. He didn't really get the points yet, but I don't think that's a concern.
No.
Alexis Lafreniere didn't get points in his first year, and look at him now.
Exactly.
I mean, he only got 10 points in his first season. So
it's the way he comported himself out there. And it got better as he, obviously he got more comfortable and he looked like an NHL player. And, and he had some really good he did some nice things out there. So definitely, I won't disagree. Let's get on to the injuries real quick. I don't know how this is going to show up too well. Okay. So this shows injuries by team. It's not top to bottom like that. Montreal had 390 man games lost. They weren't the most, but they were near the top of the league, but it was down. They were definitely near the top of the league with injuries, but I think they were third or fourth.
Third.
I think something like that. So it was better. Mm-hmm. Concern or not because of the new medical staff? Or do you see like I do? They were down. I think that kind of continues till it evens out to where they're where they should be a normal team.
I think it will because Doc, he got injured on a freak play. You can't really do anything about that. Jack, I will mention it later, but with Jack, he had some injuries. Gooley, he got hurt a couple times. I think most of those are just kind of freak accidents. Dvorak, we thought he was out for the season, and he came back. I think that's actually a bright spot for potentially the medical staff for how they helped him. There were guys that got hurt that came back, and we didn't expect them. Not necessarily didn't expect them to, but they came back a little quicker than we thought they would have.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm completely fine. I don't think there's any concern for the medical staff right now. 2-3 years, if we're still at the top, then yeah, maybe there should be a little bit of concern, but it's going to come down. I think that with Doc's going to be healthy, Jack will be back to regularity. Gooley
the new hook injury, maybe the new hook injury, something like that doesn't happen. Like there's
well, and the new hook thing was again kind of a freak thing.
Yeah,
but those happen more often these days because of the speed at which these guys are going,
right. Exactly,
and the equipment, the firmness of the equipment. Yeah, I'm on Facebook a lot, and I got a lot of these old pictures I see from whatever. So some old hockey. You should see these shoulder pads these guys used to wear. It's nothing. It's like paper thin.
Oh yeah.
It was padded even. It wasn't hard plastic. So, and nothing there. It's like, and today they're getting hit with these. It's crazy, what the difference today. So injuries are going to happen. They're probably going to be a little higher than would normally be back in the day or whatever, but they got to come down from that. All right. Just wanted to quickly hit on that. All right. We were talking about line one. We're going to continue a little bit in this way. Line one for the last season, regular season, offensive lines only. Montreal Canadiens, Slav, Suzuki, Caulfield, the 5th best line in the NHL this past season. Already the 5th best line in the NHL. My first question, possible that in the next 2 to 3 years, they're at number one?
Yes, absolutely, because they're going to be sticking together. You'd be insane to split them up. They're going to be at least top 3. I see number one in 3 years.
They're going to top 3 for sure. I got to say for sure. If they're at this age and the 5th best, wait.
Once that chemistry is really clicking.
Yeah, wait. And Hudson.
And once we have a full team as well.
And Hudson being there, playing with them sometimes when they're at 5-on-5, right? Yep. Obviously, their numbers going up. Yeah, they're going to be a top 3. And I think definitely at 1 year, they're going to be at least 1 year. They're going to be a top line.
I think so. Also, shout out Jonathan Drouin at number 7 with the Avs.
What? Who?
Drouin was at number 7 with the Avs.
Was that the number 7?
Yeah, it was I think it's a Drouin, McKinnon, Ranson, and that was the 7th line. 7th best line.
Yeah. Well, by the way,
I took a picture of that where you just put up, and I'm looking at it.
He's got a bromance with Drouin there.
Yeah, dude.
He's over there. He's got a bromance with Drouin. Just so you know.
Yeah.
All right. So line one.
I can't even ready for this. This is nuts. So that line, the Slav, Suze, Caulfield line, had more goals for than McDavid's line.
Well, I mean, that makes sense.
If you look at those, if you look at that shot.
But really? That's more goals. So what do we have? 33, 40, 50, 61.
That line had 40 goals more than
that line produced 81 goals. And well, maybe not, because I don't know if they all, like Slav got a couple of goals before he was on that line.
If you look at goals for on the chart, that line had 40 goals. The McDavid line had 34.
Wait, I got something on that. No. Line one, last 41 games, 53 goals in their last 41 games together. Geez. And when I say last, I think that's how many games they played together. Second half of the season, the whole.
Yeah.
They might have played a little bit before that, but anyways, their last 41 games together, so the last half of the season, 53 goals. So, already, if you take that, if they're on that pace next year, 82 games, That's over 100 goals right there. So there's no
That is
doubt.
1/3 of the team's probable goal scorer.
There's no doubt that this team, it's over 1/3, because there's no doubt.
Oh yeah, it would be.
Yeah, we're hoping to get to about 280, so that's over. There's no doubt they're gonna produce 100 goals this line plus, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think right there, you look at that, they've already kind of on that pace. And the last time Habs had a 100 plus goal line, guys want to hazard a guess?
The Koivu
You were
Kovalev line.
still young and partying.
Who? What?
Had to be when you were still young and partying.
I was 31. It was 1993. They won the cup.
1893?
They won the cup in 1993 with Bellows, Damphousse, and Muller. They were the last 100 goal line. And I think, if I remember, I don't have the number here, but if I remember correctly, it was 110 goals, I want to say, they had between them. Mostly Bellows and Damphousse, because I think Damphousse had 40. And I think Bellows had 40 that year. One of them for sure had 40.
So it was, what was it? It was the Bellows, Muller, and Damphousse line?
Yeah,
39, 37, and 40. Damphousse had 39, Muller had 37, Bellows had 40.
Bellows had 40. So that's, that's 116.
Yeah.
Oof, even better.
And then shout out Stephane Lebeau, by the way. 31 goals, 80 points that year.
Stephane Lebeau was a good hockey player. He didn't have the size in an era where you needed more size, and yet still look at those numbers.
Yeah.
I think Stephane Lebeau, very underrated hockey player.
Yeah.
Which is not unusual for Habs players. I mean, they were stacked.
Which is very weird, though, considering that we're the most popular team in the NHL. It's still kind of funny, though.
What? What's the funny part?
That there's a guy like Stephane Lebeau who can be underrated.
Who can be underrated? Yeah. Yeah, I guess you're right. Okay, I'm looking at the wrong paper here now. We were still talking about line one. Okay, we talked about Slav. I don't think we have to. You want to talk more? We said everything about Slav. You guys got anything to add about Slav? Or Nick or Cole? I'll say this. We didn't talk about Cole much. Everybody disappointed. Only 28 goals. I'm not disappointed. Why am I not disappointed? It's those 37 assists that he got along with that.
Stole words right out of my mouth. And I learned this from my dad. And this is true really for any sport, but especially a sport like hockey or even a sport like basketball, where there's other ways to impact the game,
right? Other
than doing your primary thing, right? Which for Cole Caulfield, it's goal scoring,
right?
The fact that he even knew, all right, my shoulder's not feeling that hot, the goal scoring's not going to really be there for me this season. Well, what can I do? Well, I'm just going to be a playmaker because I'm equally as good as that.
Yep,
and he got those 37
Love
assists.
That.
And
he back checks and forechecks like a motherfucker for a 5'7", whatever the hell.
You're right. The back check, forecheck, like crazy, all over the ice, energetic, and not wasted all over the ice either. It's not like some guys that are all over like a chicken without its head. He's not. He knows where to be. He knows where to go. He'll make a mistake here and there. Of course, everybody does. But, man, he impressed me with the game behind the goal scoring. So I'm not disappointed because that's a great thing for him.
Well, that's what makes
a well-rounded player. If you want to add points to this team, Cole Caulfield being more well-rounded, and then eventually adding those goals that we're expecting, but then having the assists to go with it now. I don't know. That's like, I don't know how you can ask for anything more than that.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you're disappointed in a player becoming a more well-rounded player.
Yep.
And I'll use a bit of and I know this is a hockey podcast, but I'll use a basketball analogy. Like, you look at a guy like on the Celtics, like Jason Tatum, like there'll be nights where he's not scoring the ball, but what he does just as good, if not better than scoring, is rebounding the ball. He averages double-digit rebounds, and he's a hell of a defender. So again, when you're a good player, to make yourself a great player, you got to be able to be well-rounded. You got to be able to do multiple things great. And the fact that Cole Caulfield dipped into his bag of tricks and did that this year, without, because I think he knew too his shoulder wasn't feeling that well, and needed this year to have
Or
it
wasn't
heal up.
the groove wasn't there for that shot?
He still found a way to impact the team and impact the team in a great way, and I commend him for that. And I think that's what's going to end up making him a fantastic player for years to come.
And then going forward, when he is scoring the way we probably think he is, right? Every goal scorer has slumps. When he's in a slump, he's got that playmaking to back it up, to fall back on, so that he doesn't get into a funk about it. That's great to have. A goal scorer can't score if he doesn't have that. He's going to get into a bit of a funk. It's harder to break out of. You have that whole game to fall back on. You get that pulls you through the slump.
Right, and not even just like getting assists, but just the way he forechecks, just freeing those pucks up for a guy like Suzuki or Slavkovsky. Like just little things like that, like details.
On nights when nothing's working offensively, well, he's got his forecheck and back check, and he can be effective that way, and he can feel good about his game still. It's for the mental side of the game. These are good things.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, and one quick point I want to make as well is on the power play. Teams have started covering Caulfield more, and he's adapting to that. He's figuring out where he can pass to either get open or generate a goal-scoring chance with some of the other guys on the ice. So I think that's actually going to work to his benefit by taking this rebuild season. It's a wasted season in terms of winning, but he's taking what he's learning on the ice, and he's going to adapt to that. He's, like I said, he's passing the puck. He's figuring out how to get himself open, and he's generating more chances. I love that about Caulfield's game. He's a guy who does not quit. Like we mentioned, with his goal scoring, he has the playmaking as well, and the defensive game is starting to come around.
IQ too. I mean, look at those three guys on that line. I mean, the hockey IQ.
Yeah, they're all really smart.
I mean, the way that those guys can process the game, and now I had a guy like Hudson on the back end that processes the game as fast as those guys. I mean, it's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. They're going to be devastating out there. Like, it's going to be hard to play against Montreal. It's considered, it's in the future. Does it all work out that way? I don't know 100%, but this team is trending.
We can hope, and we believe it will be.
Yeah, this team is trending to be a team that's going to be very difficult to play against.
Yeah, they're going to win at least a cup, I think, in the next decade. It's all but a guarantee, I feel like.
It's all but a guarantee. Yeah, because you can't guarantee any of that. But they're going to be.
When the Leafs signed John Tavares, they guaranteed they were going to win a cup by 2027.
Yeah, that's the thing. You don't guarantee it. When you guarantee it, you jinx yourself, I think.
We do. We believe it will. It should happen.
I want to speak on the power play too a little more. And again, this is something that Slav worked on, and we finally start in a few games. I mean, he's a shooting threat now on that power play.
Yep.
Yeah. And now they've got that threat from both sides of both wings, right? So now the defenders, it's like, what do? If they lean to one side,
we have this guy open.
If they lean to that side, they're getting scored from that side. So, it's going to be a decision.
Or if they cover both guys, Lane Hudson now has room to work with.
Yeah, now you got
Suzuki, who's probably going to be in the slot.
Yeah, that's the thing. So, it's going to be really hard to keep them off the board. And
it's going to be so sick.
It's going to be hard to shut this team out going forward. Let's put it that way.
And I do want to say for the power play as well, people have been so focused on the fact that it's going to be Caulfield, Suzuki, Slavkovsky out there. But I have a quick proposition, and I think this could be going forward. I know this is season review, but I want to propose this real quick. Caulfield on the left side, of course. Slap on the right side. Suzuki takes the face-offs. You have Hudson on his point. You put Doc on the left side, and if Suzuki wants a face-off, they switch. You get Doc as the big man in front, Suzuki covering his slot like he usually does. I think that's going to be a deadly power play unit in the future. I think that has potential to be top.
Yeah, but you got to spread that out.
I know you do, but imagine how good that would be.
Well, I imagine they're gonna fool around with it a little bit and see how what's the best setup. Yeah, I mean,
extra attacker play is gonna be fun. You got
Oh
those
yeah.
3 guys and Hudson already on the ice, and you just had like Dak over the boards as the extra attacker.
Oh
Holy
yeah.
shit!
Yeah, it's going to be this team's going to end up being pretty freaking amazing. Now, speaking of extra attackers, because I was going to mention Matheson. Let's talk about Matheson and Savard in terms of like so many people trading these two guys away, and I don't think the team will trade both, but I'm leaning now towards the team not trading either. I think Matheson gets resigned, and I think there's a really good possibility that Savard does too.
Yeah,
because
I think
they're so young on D that if they feel that their rebuild is getting towards, like say they get that player in the draft this year, and they feel their rebuild has kind of stepped up, they might make the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're trading away Matheson and Savard, you're not making the playoffs. Why? Because your defense is too young.
Yep.
And it's going to hurt you.
Mm-hmm.
In big games, especially. You got to keep some veteran presence here. That's the only 2 veterans they got.
I mean, not only that, but
They're
even though they only
them.
played a couple of games, I did really like that Savard-Hudson pairing.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I think Savard being that defensively responsible veteran really helps Lane Hudson.
Might be the reason why he gets re-signed.
I've been thinking about that myself. I've been trying to kind of put together what I think the lineup could look like, and I'm having a hard time seeing them.
2 years with that duo, 2 years with that pair, might be what Hudson needs to be fully enmeshed in his career.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That 2 years, he'll learn what he needs to learn. He'll have that backup of Savard to back him up because he's going to be in the offensive zone and up with the forwards. We know this. I think one of the reasons why they would sign Savard is because I think to start with, him and Lane Hudson might be the perfect pairing.
I think so. Honestly, like I could see it being something like Gooley, Matheson, Hudson, Savard, and like Arbor Struble as the 6 to start the season.
Who'd you say?
What I was thinking too.
Gooley, Matheson, Hudson, Savard, Arbor Struble.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of had that. I didn't. But I wrote this.
And but it's tough to judge, right? Because I think, Reinbacher and Mayu have a really good chance to impress in camp.
They might, but I think they might spend some time in the AHL yet. I had Matheson, Savard, Hudson, Gooley, but I know that's wrong. Just switch to, and I think that is right. And then Jack Guy and Struble or Mayu, if he makes it up. I think possibly we might have had it wrong, and Mayu is the first one of those 2 that gets to the big club.
Yeah, because he's
and Mayu
had more experience. I can see that.
I can see that, and I'm fine with that too. Because Mayu's had all this time on North American ice, obviously already. We've seen him have a really good season, his first season in Laval. And he still has a lot of things to clean up in the defensive end, but again, another guy that can move the puck, absolute howitzer from the blue line, wrist shot or slap shot, like.
Well, with the right partner, with the right defensive partner, I think it was this very small sample size, 1 game, but surprisingly didn't look out of place on defense.
Got an assist?
No, he did not.
So
did get an assist? Yeah.
There is some maybe I think maybe Reinbacher spends a year in AHL next year.
You can see that, especially just get accumulated to the North American ice too. You know what I mean? Like
and then Mayu gets the call up, maybe makes it out of camp, and I think that's a very big possibility.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I do want to say too. I think, we talk about Waugh, Struble, Mayu. When those 3 guys talk, and I think this is a testament to the coaching staff and the development staff in the AHL, neither of those 3 guys looked out of place when they got called up.
No, they did not.
Slotted in the lineup. They were ready to go right away. And I think that's a testament to the coaching staff in Laval and how this new way of developing prospects.
That and the drafting, the scouting, right? Scouting guys got it right, and then anybody talking about JF Houle, I think they're wrong. I don't know what, because people are saying, "Oh, he's gonna get canned," blah blah blah. I don't think so. You're reading something wrong. From what I'm reading from the people who kind of know and should be making that decision, they're very happy with him. He's delivering players to the league, and they're not looking at a place.
No, they're not.
No,
Yep.
I mean
that's what his job is.
Maybe 2 games, but like Struble was right out of the gate.
Look, that's what he's. Yeah, exactly.
He's telling me he just got called up. It looks like he's been playing in the damn league for a year.
And you look at the previous guys there, even with forget his name now, but even him did not deliver guys to the NHL that were ready. And this guy is delivering talent ready to the NHL. Now, granted, the talent is a little bit better from drafting, but still.
But you got to
You're
develop
delivering it to the NHL, ready to go and fitting in seamlessly. I think the coach is fine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The only way he doesn't stay is if a team in the NHL wants him and he says, "I want this," but that's not happening. At least not this year. 2-3 years definitely, but not this year.
Yeah, I don't think this upcoming season, but it will happen for him. I mean, that's how these guys get up there, right? Is they do that. But right now, firing Jean-Francois Houle, big mistake.
It would
be a big mistake.
I mean, look at Caden Primo too.
Yeah,
right.
Primo,
I mean, the guy spent under Houle down there, and he's turned it right around. Like it's, and again, there's not. I don't think there's a lot of farm systems in the league where you can say like,
guys
all the prospects that came up
and fit in seamlessly.
They fit in right away. They look like NHL hockey players.
Yeah, and it's something that, I mean, the Habs have not had this. Even under the previous guy, because his name is just not coming to me. Now the guy before that, Sylvain Lefebvre, did nothing in developing anybody.
Wasn't it Duchamp before JF?
No, I can't remember his goddamn name. How can we not remember the guy's name before Jean-Francois Houle?
Joel Bouchard?
Yeah, that's it, Joel Bouchard. Yeah. He was good, but it turned out he was a little bit of a bully, and players didn't really like him. So I got to say, Houle, I think the players must like this guy because they're responding. It's clear that they've responded.
Maybe even Arbor with his little stint down there.
Everybody, right? Arbor went down. Armia. Maybe he had an influence in that too. Armia went down there twice. Second time he came up, he's been good. Yeah. So I think
either he's doing wonders.
Sorry,
either Jean-Francois Houle he's doing great, or guys are looking at him in the AHL and saying, "I don't want to play for that guy. I'm going to play my ass off in the NHL."
Yeah, but it's not the second; it's the first.
Yeah, and honestly, that just makes me excited for the work that he possibly going to be doing with. Well, not. Possibly because they're both going to be in the AHL, but at least I can't wait to see how these guys do.
It gives you more confidence.
He's got Mishar and Beck in the AHL this coming season.
It gives you more confidence having them there, whereas previously it was with Lefebvre. It was like they're there, they're never coming up, right? Yeah. They're never coming up. But now you got confidence. They go down, they're going to get better in the AHL, and they'll be ready when they get back here. And that's a big thing.
I'm looking, like I said, man, he's going to have Mishar and Beck to work with this year. And I think both of those guys already have, extremely good skill sets for the NHL game. I'm really excited to see what JF will do with them and
Florian
with them and teach them and see, how much better they can get.
Yeah, true.
He's going to have
those two guys get called up and they look not out of place at all. I mean, holy shit. Like, we're off to the races.
Keep him.
Go ahead.
We're saying Florian, but keep in mind if he's anything like his brother, he's gonna be in the fucking AHL next year.
He is.
Florian's already signed with
there already.
But Florian, what I'm saying. We're saying he's gonna be in the AHL, but if he's like his brother, he'll be in the NHL next year.
Oh, maybe not next year, but I don't know how much. I don't know how long he'll spend. Like like you say, with that kind of guy, like that character. Maybe he will be back by the end of the year up in Montreal.
I think he will be. I think especially for out of it, he's going to get a call up.
Well, I mean, we'll have to see. I don't know.
But
I
no,
don't.
I mean,
I wouldn't put
it's.
it out of
I'm
the
excited to
question.
see what he can do with. Yeah, I mean, Florian,
Yep.
Michar, and Beck be there next year. I'm excited to
Oh,
see what he
yeah.
can do with them.
Yeah, Laval should be in the
All three of
playoffs
those
next year
guys
at that
have
time.
skills that'll translate to the
I-
NHL level right away. I mean, we've already seen what they can do.
I hope Laval makes it finally, but
Yeah.
I was disappointed they didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah, they're like right in there, and then it was like final 3
Yeah.
games. It was like, no, we're done.
They just fell out, and that's
Yeah.
and just after they got all that reinforcement sent down, and then
Exactly.
and they were out. Like
Wall had gotten cleared, he got sent down, and it's like,
it was
we
disappointing.
don't need you.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is. Yeah, yeah, because
All
we also sent down Gooley as well, right? For enforcement.
no, Gooley didn't get sent down.
Who's it?
No, not Gooley.
Oh no, we resent down Mayu, right? I think that's what it was.
Yeah. There was like 3-4 guys,
Yeah.
and Josh Raw was healthy again. He got sent down. Yeah. Let's move on to Arbor Jackeye. And what do you guys think of what he admitted to, like that he was injured and didn't tell anybody?
I think it's a very foolish thing to not admit it and tell anybody. I completely understand, and I love that work ethic that, hey, I don't care if I'm injured. I want to play hockey. That's my job. I want to play.
But you got to use.
But it's gonna cost him It's gonna cost him in a couple years if he doesn't tell anybody in the future.
I hope he learned his lesson.
Yeah,
I mean, I think he did. I mean, I think he's the type of player that I think he when he admitted that he said, "Yeah, I fucked up. I'm not doing it again."
Exactly. Yeah.
That's right.
So so it's a thing where again you gotta love and respect that, but you gotta think, please don't do that again.
Yeah, and it explains all year when we wanted him to fight.
Yeah, why he wouldn't be, or why he might not have been physical some nights.
Why he only fought when not very often, when he needed to, and not because he knew he was injured.
We say he didn't fight often, but he was still second on the team with like 6 fights.
No, he did, but I mean, there were. Come on, how many games we thought for sure there's going to be?
Him like 15 fights this year.
Yeah, and there probably should have been more than there were.
Yeah.
But I mean, now we understand why.
Yeah. However, I will say, he beat the shit out of Reeves when he was injured. Imagine if he's fully healthy next year and they go
first year of the game. No, first year of the game. I don't think he was injured then.
No,
first game.
Well, I mean,
first game of the year. I said it the wrong way.
Yeah.
No, I don't think he was injured there, but and this is a good point to bring up too. Like I know we previously talked about injuries in the medical staff. Like, what if Arbor wasn't the only one that maybe didn't say anything, right? Like the medical staff can't do anything if you don't tell them.
Yeah. If you're not willing, they're not going to be able to help you because they don't know a thing.
But I didn't find like there were guys that played that way. There was not. Look at Galley. I mean, Galley just kind of shocked. He played every game he could. He only missed the suspended games. He played his ass off. He didn't get injured. Like, that's crazy that Galley didn't get injured.
I remember after the first game too, we were watching him skate. We were like, "Oh fuck!"
Yeah,
like first few games.
I will say it doesn't surprise me that Galley played every game because he was not a net front presence for most of them. He just went about playing like a winger along the boards. He was not playing the Gallagher style of hockey for most of the year, and it helped him. Who would have thought? Well, not playing the Gallagher game in terms of staying in front of the net and accidentally blocking a lot of shots.
I thought he played his typical Galley, get in your face.
I did too. I thought he was smarter about it though.
Maybe that's
what I'm. Yeah,
there are a lot of times where if he looked and saw a D-man winding up, he got out of the way because he said, "Yeah, I've taken a few of Shea Weber's off the hand, didn't tickle."
Maybe that. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like he did play a very smart game. And I actually thought at the end of the year, though, he was very good. He was very good at the last 10, 15 games of the year.
He was the last 10, 15 games. Exactly. He was good. He had good points. He was.
Yeah, last 15, he had 11, 12 points. He was like, holy shit.
He was over a point a game in his last 9, I think. He had 11 points in his last 9, I think, is what it was. So, so, I mean, that was good. We got off track on that. Doesn't matter. Next up, Hudson. Let's talk about Hudson again a little bit. Obviously, the question I have here, NHL or AHL next season, obviously,
Come
It's
on.
going to be in the NHL. I don't see. I mean, unless look, it was only 2 games. Maybe it's a coincidence that he played that great and he'll come and he won't look as good. I don't think so, though.
No, not at
He
all.
just looked too good. Was able to do his stuff. No, I know. I'm saying he was just able to do the things he does. I don't see how he has a fall off from that.
No.
Right?
The only way he does
He won't.
the
He'll be
defenseman
fine.
in the NHL specifically study him and find out what he's doing, but they're not going to spend all that time on just one defenseman.
I don't know that you can figure it out though, because he's able to back
No.
guys off. With nothing.
No, I mean,
You
he's
saw
the
it
magic man for a reason.
in his
like,
second game.
he can stick handle himself out of a friggin' phone booth.
Well, that's what he did against what was it? The second game against the Wings, I think it was Perron. He was right at the blue line. He had no space. He just did his jig, and Perron didn't know what the fuck to do.
Next
So
lane.
he backed up and he created the space and he scored. That was the Slafkovsky goal. He shot the puck, Slav scored on the tip on the deflection. So like that guy, I mean, he doesn't need much. He makes it happen.
No. Like I said, I mean, he's doing the same things he was doing. He's that smart.
Yeah, it's crazy how
that good. Like I said, on his edges, I think he's got the best crossover. Some of the best crossovers I've ever seen. Like you just see how much speed he generates right away, like 2-3 crossovers, and he's gone.
Yeah, no, and you know what? People were knocking his skating at some point. Like, I didn't see anything to knock.
I mean,
if anything, he could use a little bit more power in his stride. But when he's maneuvering on the blue line and when he's in tight areas and he's got to make space, he's got some of the best skating I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And
it's not even what he does with the skates or what he does with the hands with the puck. Like you should see the way his head moves, the way his shoulders move.
Yeah, that's the jigging. Like you don't know where he's going. You can't tell. He's just moving. You don't know where he's going to break to.
Rick, I wish we should put this video up so people can see you doing that.
Well, that's what he's doing. He's
fucking flamethrower.
And you don't know where he's going. You don't know which side he's going to break to.
Yeah.
He moves.
Yeah, that's why he's so effective.
Like you don't know. That's why Perron went like, "Fuck this! I'm just going to back up. I don't know what the fuck to do." So yeah. That's why when they compare him to Makar or Hughes, he might be at that talent level, but I mean these are 2 different players.
Yeah,
it's not the same style,
right? And like I've always said, when I talk about those guys on the same breath, I talk about it as like from an offensive perspective, like Lane Hutson's right there. I mean, he's right there.
Yeah, no, but
in terms of creating, in terms of just getting the puck style,
compare him to somebody that does find a player that you can compare that jigging, the way he just creates space for himself. I don't know anybody who's like that.
No, I don't. I was just saying it from a production standpoint, like point wise, like when Lane Hutson gets it, like when he's
that might be
few years in, like he's gonna be like a 70.
No, that's probably comparable, but I'm saying the style, how he goes about
right. No,
it.
I agree. Totally agree. No, it's a totally unique thing. And this is why I always said it watching him in college. Like I've never seen this ever.
Yeah,
I have never seen a guy move like that. Like even I got neck pain sometimes watching him play because I'm like,
yeah, exactly.
I'm doing this.
And to write a book on him, I don't know how you do that. Why? Because he has so many different kinds of moves. I don't know how you predict what he's going to do.
Well, you can't. That's what makes him so good.
You know, it's not like in this situation.
Even the best defenders in college hockey were like, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah, you don't know how. He's got so many different things he can do. You don't know what he's going to do.
Like you guys saw the highlight from earlier this season when he did that little move where he starts jigging back and forth and he went through UMass defender's legs and the guy just froze and poof right into the glass because he was like, "Fuck just happened."
Oh, yeah. I remember that. Yeah, I remember that highlight. We thought he knocked himself out.
I mean, he was frozen. He just looked. He was like, "Whoa, poof."
It was like a robot went, cannot compute.
No, literally, though. Like, and that's what he did on a game by game basis. Like, whenever he had the puck, it was like, all right, everybody get on a man because we like.
I only saw highlights.
Like, all he needs is that much space, and he can get a pass through. It's ridiculous.
I only really saw his highlights till he played here, right? But you see his highlights and all that, but when you see him, everything about his game, right? The whole, not just the highlight, but what leads to it, what he does in between those plays. Like he's an amazing player.
Oh yeah.
Imagine him with 2 or 3 more inches on him. Unstoppable.
I mean, I still think he's borderline unstoppable at 5'10". But...
At 6'1", 6'2". Imagine this kid at 6'1", 6'2". Crazy. Why aren't kids like that big? It's crazy.
Listen, I'm more than happy with him at 5'10", 170.
100%. After seeing him in the NHL and being confident now of what he's going to look like, not wondering, will it translate? Oh, it's going to translate. Yeah, his size is not going to be an issue that much.
Yeah, and you won't see like a lot of those like, you know, like Lucas said when he's been on, like a lot of those, you know, like through the legs. So you won't see a lot of that because that's just not really something you do in the NHL level. But as you've seen, right, that constant deking back and forth, the head fakes, the shoulder fakes, just the way he sells moves, is the way. Again, I keep going back to it, but his crossovers are immaculate, just immaculate. The way he goes side to side, the way he picks up speed, like he can stop on a dime and then boom, right, like 2 crossovers, he's gone. He's by.
He'll get away with that, putting pucks through legs, because again, the way he moves, you don't know what he's doing. You don't know. So I can see him getting that, doing that. I don't think there's anything he did in college. I don't know if there's anything that he can't do in the NHL. I mean, sure, 2 games, it's a small sample size. Don't make fun of me. Don't laugh at me. I get it. But
no, I watched his whole college career. I mean, it's not.
This kid is crazy. We've never seen a player move like that. So I don't know. How do you predict how good he's going to? Yeah, you can't really.
I mean, you can't. Every time he touches the puck, you don't even know what the fuck he's going to do with it.
Right. That's it. So like this, the sky's the limit for a guy like that.
Oh yeah. It almost.
You know, like I've said too, and you know, like we saw. You know, if he doesn't have a pass, he'll find a seam and just put it on net. And for whatever reason, he just has a knack of either hitting the pad the right way or just getting it to the right spot where it
gets through. That's what I noticed. His shots get through.
His passes too. He needs that literally that much space. Yeah. I'm not joking. That much space. He'll get a pass tape to tape, or he'll just find a seam to get the puck through on net. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. What were you going to say, Harry? You were going to say something.
No, yeah, I was going to say, what Lane Hutson's doing in the NHL reminds me of a quote that Brett Hull had about Danny Heatley, and I want to say it was the O2 All-Star game. I think Heatley was like 21. He said he's 21 years old. He should not be doing this stuff in the NHL. That reminds me so much of Lane Hutson, because this kid, he's playing like he's a 27-year-old in his prime, and this kid's 21.
He's playing like they're college players in the NHL.
Exactly.
That's the thing.
Exactly. He's playing either like that or like he's been in this league for a decade and he knows every player. Like
I stand by everything I said when he was in college. Like it's.
Yeah, I mean, in this early small sample size, he's proven it out.
And he'll adapt too. I mean, and you can go and you can read. Guys that covered BU, you can read quotes from the team. Every one of his teammates at BU have always, and even Coach Pandolfo, have always said, you know, the best hockey IQ, not just on the team, but in like college hockey, is Lane Hutson. Like just raving about how smart that kid is, how intelligent he is, how he processes the game,
how quick he processes. He processes the game faster than even fast guys. Like he's probably the fastest. He processes
the game faster than a lot of forwards in the league.
He probably processes it faster than like Suzuki. They process that game fast. He's probably faster than them. I think to be making the moves like that, jigging and whatever, and you're moving, you're just your brain is working, man. It has to be that talented and to pull off so many of the things he does. He's thinking that, man. Like incredible speeds. Like it freaks me out. You watch old time hockey when I was a kid, they look like they're skating in cement compared to today.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So to see a kid like that, imagine if he would have been in the 70s playing like that, he'd have been like the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Oh yeah, he would have
he probably had like a
nobody would have touched him.
He'd have a 500-point season.
Yeah, nobody would have touched him. Never mind Bobby Orr. It would have been this kid. Like crazy stuff. But the speed at which these kids today process the game is like I can't even figure
insane.
it out.
And like I said, it's his hockey IQ, and you can go and you can read the quotes from his teammates, from his coaches. Like
I have.
He's one of the smartest kids that have come out of the U.S. development team in a long time. Like the hockey IQ on that kid is insane for only a 20-year-old, and I think it in part has to do with he was always a small kid growing up, so you kind of have to think that way. And now that he's at he's small for a defenseman, but for the game he plays, like
no, he's gonna be fine. He's gonna be fine now.
Oh yeah,
and it's all, he always changes up his moves when he brings it in. Like he's always constantly changing things up, keeping defenses on their edge. It's not you'll notice a lot. He'll use different moves when he comes into the zone. Like it won't be repetitive stuff. He'll change up, mixing speeds.
It's also
come in like in the overtime that he was in. He can come in blazing speed and make like a move and get through 3 guys, no problem.
Yeah, it's hard to hit him because you don't know where he's going to be.
And
you don't know where he's going to be. You could try to hit him, and
I've seen him duck under hits.
Yeah,
like he'll see it coming and just duck and keep the puck and keep going. It's like what the fuck?
Well, you had to learn that as a small player because he had to learn how to make sure he's out of the way of all those elbows and this and that,
Oh, yeah.
And maybe that's how he even came up with that movement is getting out of the way. He learned how to move so quick like that just to get out of the way and avoid guys by even though skating near them,
Yeah.
Imagine because he was small. All right, let's move away from that now. Let's move to some rumors that are out there. I want to see your guys' opinions of these guys. We're going to start out with the one that's newest. Not newest, it's been there for a while. But like biggest now because Lightning just got knocked out.
Yes.
Steve Stamkos. What do you guys think?
He's not coming to the Canadiens.
I agree. I don't see it.
No, I'll say it would be fun. It'd be interesting, but it's not going to happen. There's already a 10% at best chance that he goes to free agency.
Oh, you think
unless Montreal? I don't think they will.
Okay.
It's tough to say because apparently early in the season there was talks that they wanted to extend
talking
him.
now. I just read.
They are now, but early in the season there was something where it's like, oh, they're engaged in talks, nothing is close, and then it came out or something came out like Stamkos is wanting too much or something, and now, like you said, it just came out they're engaged in re-signing talks.
But I mean, why would they want him here?
Exactly.
Too much money.
More than likely.
A little bit on the old side.
He's 36, yeah.
So what kind
of 36, he's 34, I think.
Yeah, so what kind of contract are you talking about? Like I would give him
3-4 years probably. That's what what he'd want.
Yeah, I don't know what he'd want. Still too much money, I'm sure there.
I
don't see how they think that'll work. Sure, he's a winger now. I get it. Second line winger, there's your guy. But I don't think it works.
I will say Stamkos is still a great player. Just this past year, 40 goals, 81 points.
Yeah. I'm not saying
goals,
that.
6 points in 5 games. No, I get that. I'm saying this. I'm saying this for the guys, for people who might be watching who still have that mindset of, oh, Stamkos, didn't he suck this year? No, he did not. He was still very good.
Yeah.
And I think he would work in Montreal. I think at least for the first 2 years of the contract, he'd be a great player on the second line wing. He'd be good. He can even transition back to center if we need to. it's just not going to happen. Like you said, Rick, he doesn't fit the timeline. And even if he did, do you want to spend $8 million on that? Do you want $8 million for a second line winger?
That's one of the. I mean, his age doesn't fit him in with what they're doing here.
No.
He's too old. They're not going to pick up a free agent that's that old.
For another 3 years, probably.
They're not. They're not going to pick up a guy like that.
No. And Stamkos has the experience. Of course, he has the 2 finals, the 2 cup rings, the 4 finals. He's a great experienced guy, but he just doesn't fit with what the Habs are looking for right now.
He's too old on this young team. Why are you bringing in an older guy like that for that wing spot when you could probably fill that way more easily with a younger guy for way less money?
Yeah.
So there's no. To me, there's no. Matt, you've been quiet. What do you think about the Stamkos rumor?
I mean, I personally, I don't see it. If we were like on the verge of contending, then yeah. But at his age, I just don't see it. Especially with, I mean, we don't know what's going on with the draft lottery yet. Won't know that until Tuesday. I don't think it makes sense really for the Canadiens. I think if he doesn't end up staying in Tampa, he'll end up just going to a team where he has a chance to win a cup.
Probably,
that's what I think.
Toronto.
Yeah. Here's the thing. There were those rumors in 2016 when he was supposed to be a free agent that he would resign with Toronto. They're going to engage again, and just for that reason, I want him to be a free agent. Just for it to come out. Yeah, Stamkos is signing with the Leafs, and then pivots at the last second, goes to San Jose or something for no reason.
I doubt San Jose. He's going to want to go somewhere where he could possibly win. You got to think.
I mean, 20 games is winning, right? You win 20 games.
Yeah, it's winning.
It is winning.
Yeah. I don't think so. So I'm in agreement. I mean, it doesn't make sense to have Stamkos come here. Sean Monahan, there's rumors they're going to re-sign Monahan. What do you think of that?
I'd like it. I mean, I think that he could work. He's a good winger or can play center, of course. I think him at that second line would work with Newhook and Hawk. He could also play third line center for sure, especially
he would be the third line center.
Probably because the rumors, of course, they're going to start engaging soon. Dvorak probably getting dealt. So,
I mean, I think it's likely even Dvorak gets moved.
Yeah, probably at the draft, I would think.
But I don't think Monahan's the solution. Why? I want somebody better. Is that wrong to say that? I want somebody that might be a little younger and maybe a little more explosive offensively.
For a third line, can you get much better than a 40-50 point guy?
No, see, I'm thinking more on the lines of that second line winger. That's what I'm thinking of.
I think we are thinking of the same name. Trevor Zegras. Sam Reinhart.
That's next.
Oh yeah,
let's move on. Because I don't think Monahan resigns. I don't.
No. I don't think so. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it. I love Sean Monahan. I think he's a good veteran. But yeah,
same with Tyler Foley.
I think especially depending on what happens with the draft, we're at a point in the rebuild where like we got to start putting pieces together to really
long-term pieces and guys that fit more in with the age group of that core. Yeah, no. So that's next. So let's talk about because Reinhardt's name has been mentioned, and apparently the Habs are definitely going to make the attempt. That's what I heard. Now, it's a rumor. Don't know if it's true. But it makes sense. Reinhardt is only, 27 or 28?
28.
So he's a little younger than Monahan.
Oh, Reinhardt's 26. Hold on.
But he's got that explosive offense that I'm talking about.
Yes, he does. And we talked about this. I think we talked about him a little on a couple streams ago. This is a guy. He's already played 700 games in the NHL. He's an experienced guy. He knows what it's like going through a rebuild in Buffalo, and then he knows what it's like to be a cup contender with the Panthers. This is a guy who just put up nearly 60 goals and 100 points. He's had a couple point per game seasons. He's mostly a 30-goal scorer. I feel like at this point he'll probably be 40 goals, especially if he's with Doc and Newhook.
He'll probably drop down a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. My only issue with that is the guy put up 57 goals, 94 points. he is gonna want 10 million plus at minimum.
no,
He's gonna
there's
want
no
10
doubt.
mil.
No, there's no doubt. You're paying for Reinhardt.
Exactly. Yeah.
But if you're
So-
going to give, say, $9 million for Stamkos, or maybe 9.5, 10 million for Reinhardt, Reinhardt's the better value.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Just because of the age, it's more a fit, age-wise. But plus, he's got that more explosive offense.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
He's a Bruins killer.
A Bruins,
He is.
that's
That is
always
true.
good.
Bruins
So,
killer.
yeah.
You love to have some of those.
So I like
Also,
that.
the Leafs killer.
Even
Love
though I
those.
don't think they should
It is.
go after a big UFA, but I mean, if they feel they're there and they go after a guy like Reinhardt,
I
I'm not
mean-
going to be unhappy.
If we do get Reinhardt, I honestly think that does push us over the edge to being a playoff team, not a cup contender right away.
No,
Give it
playoff
two
team.
years.
No, we get
but a
we get
playoff team,
Reinhardt.
absolutely.
We're knocking on the. I mean,
We're a playoff team.
Yeah,
we're,
I mean, the
fighting
only
for
issue
that
is that
third. We're now not a wild card. We're fighting. We're that third place.
second,
team.
third, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the only issue at that point then becomes when Reinbacher comes onto the team. How the hell do I differentiate from Reinhardt and Reinbacher? But I mean, that's an issue for the future.
Yeah, that's a good problem to have.
It is.
You know?
Which great player am I talking about?
Yeah. Yeah. So
But yeah, no,
so we're in consensus that of the three, we like the Reinhardt rumor.
Yes, absolutely.
oh yeah, and
I mean-
I've said it throughout this season, like, because he's at right. I mean, he's only 28. You know, so he's at.
Mhm.
You know, he is older than than the core guys, but he's also at that age where he's still in his prime, and he's got
Yeah.
so much experience. Already, like
And it's a
it would be
veteran
nothing-
presence.
You're right. It's a veteran presence for the top six, and
Yeah.
a guy
He
that
can
knows how to
move.
win in the Atlantic Division.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Plus,
I mean, not gonna lie, a second line of Reinhardt, Doc, and Newhook with a first line of Caulfield, Suzuki, and Doc gives me a stiff weenie.
I mean, yeah. And I'm 61, and it does. So yeah. So that's saying something.
I'm 61.
That's saying something, man.
Oh yeah, and plus as well, something I want to mention as well. Reinhardt's a guy who doesn't take a lot of penalties in the playoffs.
Very
has
disciplined.
14
He's very, very
Yes.
disciplined.
Yes, he is. He took 12 penalty minutes last year, but that's in 21 games. I think he got involved with a lot of rough stuff in the Toronto series, if I remember correctly. Or not the Toronto series. Who did they face in the conference final? Carolina. I think there's a little bit of rough stuff there, if I remember correctly. This is a guy, like you said, Matt. He's very disciplined. He will help you more than he will.
He's
be
pretty
a
good
detriment
power
to
play
you.
guy too, and I think he
Yes.
can kill penalties at times.
He's
A little bit, yeah.
He seems like that. You know that we talked so much about how the character. He seems like a fit that way.
Yeah,
No,
he
he
seems
does.
like a
I
big
mean,
character
he
guy for
seems like
sure.
a perfect fit. And like I
So-
said, if they feel comfortable that they're at a place where we're gonna push, I think he makes perfect sense.
Gordon said in the press conference at the end of the season that even this coming season, if they feel that they're ready for that, they're going to do it. They're not afraid to do it. As long as they feel they're ready, but they don't know yet. They're about to do all those.
Right, and I think a lot of that'll kind of come with the draft, right, and the lottery, like.
Yeah. There's things that have to happen.
Say we win the lottery, right? We get Celebrini. Well, then I mean, I think Jeff Gordon's been driving to Florida to put pen to paper on Reinhardt. Like that.
You had Celebrini and Reinhardt, and now we're not just a playoff contender. We may be a contender.
Oh
If the
yeah, and then
season-
plus then you have Newhook as a third line center too.
Yeah, I mean the future's bright. Let's put it that way. I think that's a little much. I think if they get Celebrini, I don't know that they're going after a Reinhardt.
But I mean, even
necessarily,
then, like if they get like the second overall pick, they get Demidov. Like
Yeah, or
I actually even
like
think
I said, even if they stay at 5 and they take Cole Eiserman or Catton or Ginla, like
Ginla.
you bring in Reinhardt, let that whoever they pick merit. Well, Eiserman would be at BU, but let either Ginla or Berkeley Catton kind of marinate in the AHL for a year and then see what happens.
Yeah. There's a lot of options there. There's a lot of options there.
Oh yeah.
Have you guys heard any other rumors than that? I haven't. I was trying to think of the rumors I've heard.
I mean, I've heard a bit about Marty Natchez of the Hurricanes.
Yeah,
I don't-
we were talking
I
Yeah,
about.
have to talk about Marty Natchez again after listening to Cam and Alex.
Oh
I'm
God,
going
yeah.
with you.
All right. The only thing I'm going to say about this, we went after Aho. The Canes matched it. They went after Kotkaniemi. That bit them in the ass, and that will bite them in the ass. For
I'm
years
so
to
glad
come.
that bit him in the ass too.
I'm so happy too. Fuck your $20 signing bonus. Sorry for that language. If we go after Marty Necas, that's going to make things worse. If we don't have a guy like, say, Slavkovsky locked up, which we will, July 1st, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a slap 8-year extension already in the works. They're going to want to come back after us because they're petty. They're a petty organization. Let them deal with the bullshit of Marty Necas. Yeah, he's a good player. He's a good second-line winger. Let them deal with that. We don't need that type of player here. Firstly, he has that awful Carolina stench to him. Oh, well, still, let him deal with the yeah, I feel like he plays wing, though, sometimes.
If he's a center, then why would they be going after him? I don't think that's a problem right now.
I think it's because we can move Doc to the right wing and then use Nate as a second-line center and just kind of balance the top six. I think that's why people want him.
Anytime you say move Doc to the wing,
No, Doc's staying at center.
You lose me. Doc's the second-line winger. I don't know how you don't see. I don't know how people don't see that. I mean, he's the second line center. Excuse me. He's going to be a great center.
Yeah, he will be. He is. I agree, but I'm just saying. I think this is what the people who want Natchez are thinking.
Maybe that. Okay, maybe that. But again,
move Doc to the wing and probably New Hook third line center, and that's
I don't see how they figure that. I really don't. Anyways, I guess like guys like Alex can see that, but he's not close enough to the team to understand that. No.
Yeah.
So I don't think.
And I don't
think that's
Harry, I love you to death. Alex Newhook's a second line wing. They're not playing him at center.
Oh, I'd be happy with that. And I'm not saying that Newhook is ideally. I'm not saying that he's the 3C, but yeah, no, I see why people would think, oh, well, you stack the center, you have Newhook, and then you move on the wings. But yeah, no, I agree. Newhook is second line center, second line winger. He'll get there.
Yeah,
I think you mean left wing.
Where the fuck wing he plays? They play both. Most guys play both wings.
So. I don't see.
You can play one wing. You can basically play the other.
No, if anything, it'd be Sam Reinhart if they're gonna go after big fish.
And besides,
I love Reinhart.
Is RFA? Is he not?
Yeah, that's exactly there.
Right. So they're not offer sheeting. That's not happening.
No.
So they have to make a trade to get Natchez. So I don't think there'd be that bad blood because they're not offer sheeting him.
Exactly.
So yeah, I wouldn't worry about the bad blood because it would be a trade, it would be fine. But I don't see them going after him.
No, me neither.
So anybody else? Any other rumors?
Oh, I feel like we need to give him obligatory mention. Trevor Zegras, blah 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 blah.
Oh, you shut the fuck up about Trevor Zegras.
Yeah, I didn't put it down.
Oh God, I don't want him anywhere near the team.
Anyways, that talk died off though.
Weirdly, it was like big at the deadline, and by now it's like, hey, remember Zegras?
Want him. He's not a good fit. He does nothing right except be flashy, and I don't want that. I want a guy who's going to give you 110% effort every game, both sides of the ice. Zegras ain't that.
Character-wise, doesn't fit.
And I'm not giving up whatever the hell I would want for him. I'm good.
That's another thing, right? Is it going to be worth you got to give up for him? I worry about that.
No.
So, no. All right, let's move on to the draft lottery quickly because I don't know how much we can talk about it.
I wanted to chime in on some other trades.
I thought we were done. Take that back.
Every time I tried to chime in, Harry talked.
I'm sorry.
No, you good, brother. What I do want to say is, from talking to some guys that are kind of sort of in the know, they kind of, they're right, through the writers that I know. Wouldn't shock me if Jordan Harris was moved. I know his name kind of came up during the regular season. It sounds like more than likely he's moved during the offseason.
If you watched my Who Stays, Who Goes, I have him as going.
Yeah.
Not on the bubble.
His name, going. I think, is still going to come up. Probably a draft move.
Yeah.
I think before Hudson came up, I think Savard's, from what I've been told, Savard's name was probably on the trade block for the offseason. But again, I agree with you. I don't see them moving him. Because I just think he pairs with Lane Hudson so well right now.
Earliest will be trade deadline next season, and I think he might be re-signed before then.
Probably.
And then may you impress us. I don't know what Barron's role on the team is. They might try to package him up like
Barron, Harris, Kovacevic. I mean, they're kind of gonna
I think
have.
they
a guy
keep
like
Kovacevic
a
as a 7D.
Norlander. They could even entertain. Or no, he's gone.
Yeah,
He
he's
went
gone
back
back.
to Europe.
He's going back.
But yeah,
for
I
next
mean,
year, he's going back home.
I mean, they're gonna. I think even if like Mayu doesn't break camp, like they're still gonna have to move at least two of those defensemen because I don't think Mayu's gonna be in the AHL long.
I think they got to move two, or they move Harris. Barron stays in the AHL. Kovacevic 7th.
Because I think Mayu's already better than Justin Barron. I really do.
Yeah,
no, he probably is. Yeah.
But I think you do want to at least weigh your options, keep him for the extra year, maybe
Yeah,
see if he pans out. So I could see them keeping Barron, then moving Harris, like you said.
Yeah, or like maybe two of those three, depending on what. Like,
I don't think Kovacevic's got a spot on this team anymore. Not because we have too many defensemen, that's one factor, but he also just sucks.
I don't agree with that.
Oh God, he sucks. He's so bad.
He does. No, he's not. He's pretty steady. I don't think he hurts you that much.
He has a couple games where he's good, and then most of the other games he has no idea what the fuck he's doing.
How
many times I've seen him out of coverage that's led to a goal because there's no way he's supposed to cover.
Who are we talking about?
Jonathan Kovacevic.
Oh, Kovacevic. I think he's okay. He's useful.
I think he sucks.
I think he's all right.
He's a useful bottom pair D. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, he's a guy you can fill in for a couple games. He shouldn't be used consistently, but if he needs to fill in for a couple games, that's when he's good.
Like you said, the 7th guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, a guy you rotate here and there where you need him, and if there's an injury, that of those three guys, that's the spot that's going to be open. I don't think anything else.
But again, I mean, if Mayu breaks camp,
well, see, that might change.
They got to get rid of Harris and Kovacevic are probably both gone.
But Kovacevic is movable. His contract is easily movable. If you find in camp that he's not, you can move him. There'll be teams that need a guy like that at his contract. I would think he's making league minimum or in that area.
I mean, I'd take like future considerations.
No, I think you got him. You
can get like a 5th or 6th for him. I think
again, just with the guys coming up and again,
the guys coming up, but it's one of their timelines. That's the thing. So it's a balance, right? If they don't hit this year, you need guys like Kovacevic and Barron or whatever.
You do. I mean, I'm still of the opinion that you move Barron and keep Harris because as good as Barron is offensively, I don't think he's as good as Mayu or Lane Hudson, and he has no idea what he's doing in the defensive end.
I think the risk reward though with Barron is better.
Is greater than Harris.
I definitely can see that.
And I think that's why Harris is going to be the first guy because you basically know what you're going to get with Harris.
Yeah.
With Barron, there is some upside.
Mystery still, yeah.
He's got to work on his different. Like I want him. I think he needs to start the season in the AHL. Like he's got to work on
Barron.
Oh yeah.
Barron could just. I don't disagree with that, but Barron could just be that guy that takes that extra year or two.
He could. Yeah. He very well could be. Like I said, it's a good problem to have.
With Harris, you're going to get what you're going to get. Barron, though, there's some upside there.
Yeah,
there is, but again, I mean, it just the issue is like you already have like Mayu and Hudson who do the offensive stuff that Barron does better than Barron. And I think both those guys are a little bit better in their own end than Justin Barron is.
If you need 2 defensemen up here, you need 4 or 5 in your system that are close. Like so, you need if he's in the AHL, you need him there.
Over in Russia too. Like it's
like you need guys there that can be brought in for injury, whatever. You know we're going to need them.
No,
so you can't just get rid of them for nothing. I think Barron, if he's got a higher upside. And you're getting rid of one of those guys, then it's Harris.
No, and I agree with that. But like I said, I don't see a place for Barron on the NHL roster right now. I think he's a guy that you got to start in the AHL. I just don't see a spot for him in the NHL right now.
Listen, if you're going to be a deep team, then you're going to have guys that are going to have to do that.
Yeah.
You can't have if all your good talent is on the big roster, you're still screwed.
Oh, no. Without a doubt.
Screwed because you don't have any depth. If you have no depth, so
I love that slide
in
too.
my
They
day,
screwed Toronto.
in my day, the depth was crazy. How good some of these guys that were in the minors, because there was no room for them, and every team had some good talent down there.
Oh yeah,
the Habs had some crazy good talent in the minors. Just no room up there, but you needed them because there's injuries.
No, you do. And like I said, I again, I don't know if it's me just looking. It's probably just me looking a little too far into the future a little bit. Because I do agree with you. I think Barron does have a higher upside than Jordan Harris. But again, I just think he's a guy that he just needs to work a lot on his defensive game in the AHL.
And also Barron has still waiver. I don't know. Does it go through next year? Is he going to still?
I think he's still on his DLC next year. Yeah.
But that waiver exemption is the big thing, right?
Yeah.
And you don't have that with Kovacevic, and you don't have that with Harris anymore. So
you're not going to have it. I don't think with Arbor either.
No, Arbor has to be signed.
Barron's an RFA.
Oh, so no more waiver exemption?
It's not necessarily that, but he is an RFA. So.
And Jack Guy needs to be signed this offseason. He's an RFA.
Yes, he does. Yes.
Don't worry. They're signing him. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, no.
That contract.
Anybody out there listening? Hurricanes? No.
You just got to wait for July 1st to put pen to paper.
You think if another team comes to him and tries to get him to sign, he's going to sign? He's a Hab. He ain't signing. No offer sheets.
That was the only team that he would consider, I would think, is Florida, and that's only because it was between Montreal and Florida who had offered him his DLC. I'm not saying it'll happen, but I'm saying
he's not going anywhere. Okay, we're running out of time.
He's not. No.
We'll skip the draft lottery because there's not much we can. It's unknown. Thoughts on who the Habs might pick at first, or their first pick in the draft? Did we kind of talk about it? We'll go over this.
We touched on it on streams, but for me,
you were here tonight. I don't know if we did.
For me, it's really kind of if they stay at fifth, it's really between two guys. For me, it's between TJ Ginla and Cole Eiserman. I'm a little biased because I'm from Boston. I'm a BU guy. I pick Cole Eiserman. I think he's got more goal scoring upside than TJ Ginla. I do think TJ Ginla is a more well-rounded player. I also think Cole Eiserman in the BU system with Pandolfo coaching him, I think he'll be able to really round his game off more. To me, I'd go Eiserman. I wouldn't be mad with either of those picks, though. I think those are two exceptional players. I know Berkeley Catton's been talked about too a lot. I don't know much about him, but for me, I would take Cole Eiserman if it was me.
Harry?
And I think that's kind of how they feel. I think they feel if Eiserman and Ginla are there,
that's the rumor. That's a rumor, but I mean, I don't know 100%. Right. That's the rumor. Harry?
It's tough to say because it depends on how the draft lottery goes. If there's teams ahead of Montreal that jump up that need defensemen, Demidov might end up falling, and I still think he does fall regardless. I think the teams in front of Montreal are all going to want defensemen. They're going to be enamored by Zeev, by Lane Perrick, by Anton Siliev. They're going to be enamored by these defensemen. I think Demidov could fall. I think it's Ginla. Unless Demidov is picked 2 through 4, I think it's TJ Ginla. I don't see a situation where we go defenseman. I know they've said they are leaving their doors open to potentially pick a right-handed defenseman.
I think that's just muddy the waters for people. So
it could be. Hey, you never know what's going to happen.
Right, I think it's like that.
We're picking TJ Ginla, but you don't know if we're picking TJ Ginla. But no, I think it'll be TJ Ginla. I will say, though, and this has no lenience from, I'm not getting sources, but this is just me speculating. Consta Helenius is a center right wing. I wouldn't be surprised if they potentially move down to pick someone like him, but I feel like the rumors are probably true. They're going TJ Ginla. I can't see Cole Eiserman. I'd like him. He'd be interesting. Caden Lindstrom, not a big fan of. Same with Lane Perrick. Not to the extent of Lane Perrick. I think Caden Lindstrom will actually make the NHL. I can't see it being anyone other than TJ Ginla. I will say, though, with the late pick, don't be surprised if we end up going center Dean Latino. Dean Latornio. Don't ask me to pronounce that name again. Latorno.
Yeah, I think we might end up packaging that pick. I got a feeling
to move up.
They're probably packaging that pick with a Jordan
to
Harris
move up.
To probably move
get
up
around 12
or even
to 15.
Get another NHL talent. Like I don't know, but I have a funny feeling that they're trading that pick.
You know what? If we do trade it to move up, I would have no problem with that. But if, for example, if we were to stay put, don't be surprised if we go after that 6'7" centerman. Those could end up being something good. And apparently he's going to Boston College as well in 25-26. At least that's what it says under his elite prospects page. So you might get a look at him, Matt.
Oh,
yeah, but I think it's again like the first
holy shit.
Yeah, he's 6'7", dude. I'm telling you. Holy shit.
I think that one of Demidov or Lindstrom goes second. So they're not there.
Ooh.
I think then it's probably going to be 2 or 3 defensemen in the next 3.
Yeah.
So it depends on where Montreal is. If it's 5, 6, or 7,
yeah.
I'm not going to assume they're going to win one of the 2 spots. So they're either in 5th, they fall back 1, or they fall back 2. Like I think that what's the name I was looking at? Hang on, there's a name I had in my head and it's gone. So I think if Demidov falls, say Lindstrom goes second, defenseman, Habs are 5th. I kind of think they might go that way.
I think we're forgetting Macklin Celebrini.
No, Celebrini's first. I'm not. That's to me. That's first. I said
Celebrini, Lindstrom, defenseman, and then Habs at 5th.
Oh, okay. You might be right. So defenseman.
Yeah, there.
Demidov is there. I think they might go there. Why? With the potential that Michkov comes early, I think that takes away any worry that Demidov might or might not. So I think Demidov, it could be Demidov, it could be Eiserman, or it could be a Ginla there. Mm-hmm. My gut still says a Ginla.
Yes. That's I fully jumped aboard the train.
Yeah, I think my gut still says a Ginla. I don't know that I'm going to deviate from that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if they don't and they get Demidov or Cole Eiserman or somebody else that's in
I got to look into Berkeley Catton. I don't know much about him right now.
I don't know much about him either. So,
but there's a lot of talk about him. I guess someone interviewed him too, asked him,
Oh, he wants to come here. Definitely.
Yeah. They asked him, if he's there and the Habs are picking at 5th, would you, how excited would you be to play for this team? And he was like, rose-colored glasses and everything. Like, he wants to be here.
He wants to hit Montreal for sure. So, which is a good sign. And that's something you want.
Yeah.
A guy that, oh, well, Montreal. Okay, I'll go to Montreal. No, he wants to come here. And that's fine. And I would think the Ginla's probably, although I don't know this, but his dad was, he's got to be professional enough already to be accepting of wherever he goes.
Oh yeah.
Maybe have a preference and maybe say, yeah, I'd love to go, but I mean, I think he'll be accepting of wherever he goes.
No,
yeah, has a preference. But I still think it's a Ginla.
Yeah, I will say in advance though, if we do pick a Ginla, I apologize to all Flames fans. Because they picked 9th and they really want TJ Ginla. I've seen a lot from Flames Twitter.
Well, why wouldn't they want TJ?
I apologize.
Well, if a Ginla drops to them, I don't think they get. He doesn't get past Calgary. I don't.
No. If they don't pick him, the Flames Twitter becomes Arizona Twitter. They are all moving.
Yeah, no. If he's available to them, yeah, I think they almost have to pick him. And you know what?
He does call them.
Great pick. So, and they have, like, with that pedigree, I mean, how do you not pick a Ginla if he's available? It's not
exactly.
It's not like you're reaching,
No, he's projected 10th right now per my NHL draft, which is a combination of Most
Yeah, I mean, if
insiders
you look
suggest
at all the rankings, I mean,
so.
those three guys I just spoke about, Iginla, Yzerman, and Cat, they're like right in that 5 to 10 range.
If
All
Montreal picks him though at 5 or 6, it's a bit of a reach, you could say, by that, but I don't think any more than your Slavkovsky was a reach.
No, and hell, even right now we're
Slavkovsky turned out he wasn't a reach, but we thought he was.
No.
We all thought he was, right? But I think it's kind of like that at worst if they do. That's why I'm still good with it. But he's a top 10. He's ranked in the top 10.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So
and I find it funny as well that we're saying like, oh, we might pick Cole Yzerman when his consensus is actually 12th. He's fallen surprisingly.
He has. That's why I don't know.
Which is why I could see the Habs end up trading up, like Matt was suggesting. I could see that if he ends up falling a little more.
I've heard this thought or this idea, like they trade up to 12 to 15 to try to nab one of those guys that falls.
Yeah, and I'd have no issue with that if we're packaging 27.
Listen,
Jordan
if they take
Harris
Keith McGinley at 5th, trade up and get Yzerman at like 12th, I'll probably come. Like, not gonna lie.
But that might be their plan. That might be their plan if they're able to package.
If Ken Hughes orchestrates that, then he's Jesus.
And maybe I've heard maybe a couple of defensemen, the Winnipeg pick, and maybe another pick, and to move up.
Yep. Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna say this now. If we draft Demidal for Iginla 5th and then package picks up to get one of Yzerman or whoever is left at 12 or whatever,
Yzerman or something.
Yeah, whoever we pick, this is gone. I am going Ken Hughes for the summer. But we do that.
You can't do. You have to do. Come on, you got to leave the line in the middle. Come on.
I may consider it, but
at least when you shave my head. The good news is Rick's already bald.
You got to go full mohawk. I got the Chinese mohawk. It's the other way. It's not.
I've had a mohawk before. It's not very flattering to me, but I might have to go full Ken Hughes to worship my dad over the summer.
There you go.
Because I do.
Actually, my dad's Jeff Gordon, but I mean,
you got to do that. Like, do a video of you shaving it off.
I would have to. Yeah.
I mean, I do think like Yzerman's high on their radar, and I don't, not just because of his skill, but like I said, he's going to BU. I mean, Kent Hughes and Jeff Gordon spend a lot of time with Hockey East. A, because both of their kids play for Boston University right now, but like B, like look at a lot of the young kids coming up with us right now that are from Hockey East.
I don't know.
They love Hockey East. They know how well kids develop in Hockey East.
I think unless Yzerman works his way back up the rankings, if he's at 10, 11, 12, they're not taking him first pick with their first pick. It would have to be to trade up to get him.
Right. But I like I said, I mean, I do think that he's that high on the radar that they would do it. Because again, because of that connection that Gordon and Hughes have to Hockey East and to Boston University.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't think though with the 5th pick it'll be to trade up to get him. They'll trade up into the slot that would get him.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. So we bored you all long enough. We're gonna call it night here. Hopefully, we haven't bored you. So if you enjoyed this, please follow. I think what is it on Spotify? Anyways, if you're listening on Spotify,
follow button.
Follow us. There you go. And if you're enjoying this and watching this on YouTube, give us a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. We'd definitely appreciate that. Leave us a comment. Leave us the emails in the description. If you have an idea you want us to talk about, a show, whatever, anything, send us a comment. We'll read it out on the next show, and you'll get your name out there. Hey, it's always good. So try to do that. I'm stumbling here on the end. I don't know why. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back hopefully next week. We will be back next week for the next show. And that's it. I'm going to cut it here because I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Thanks, everybody, for watching or listening on Spotify. Really appreciate that. Give us the thumbs up. Till next time, stay safe out there. And on behalf of my two co-hosts. Have a great week, and peace out. And we'll see you soon. And that's it. Ciao, everybody. Don't forget, check out Harry Rice on Harry Rice Hockey, and check me out, and sometimes Matt out on Talking Habs here on other things. That's it. Bye, everybody. Have a great week.